Today, I wanted to discuss uh, MicroStrategy's outperformance of Bitcoin since the spot ETF launch. And I also wanted to discuss where are we at in this market? Um, is it time to buy, or should we be more conservative here? And I also wanted to discuss um, one ETF and three stocks that are in a buy zone or about to be in a buy zone for this crypto bull cycle. Plus, I have one other altcoin that appears to be breaking out. So, if that sounds good to you guys, go ahead and hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And let's get started. So, here we have Bitcoin today setting right around $62,000. Obviously, we've had a large run up over the past few weeks since January 23rd, 24th timeframe. Bitcoin has seen a rise in price up to about 60%. Very impressive. But what I wanted to show you about MicroStrategy is in that same time frame, we saw an increase of 140%. This is absolutely crazy. And Michael Saylor is on fire right now. If you don't know who Michael Saylor is, he is the founder of MicroStrategy. And we can take a look back here at the previous all-time high, and you can see we're getting pretty close to that. But honestly, right now, I feel like things are getting maybe just a bit overheated, so I wanted to discuss that today. Um, if you look at the fear and greed index for the markets in general right now, we are in that extreme greed zone. Um, so right now might be time to be a little bit more cautious. Uh, we see this from time to time. We saw this a lot back in 2021. And this is the fear and greed for the crypto markets, and it's setting currently at 80. But I still think there's going to be much better times ahead for risk on assets, and here is why. So this is what Raoul Pal wrote or posted back on November 26th of 2023. And the more you understand about the markets, you probably understand how important liquidity flow is right now, or is in general. And so here is one of his charts going back to 2008, and this shows the liquidity being pumped in by the Fed and money printing and the quantitative easing and tightening cycles with interest rates. And as you can see, whenever we were back in COVID, we saw this obviously go a little lower, and then boom, the money printing came, and this is when all the assets peaked in 2021. Then in 2022, they started tightening or hiking interest rates, and you see what happened to the liquidity. We went negative right about the time that the markets bottomed in 2022. Ever since then, um, there's been liquidity in the background going in, especially in China, stimulating their markets, and there's been a lot of things in the U.S. over the past year or so that doesn't really look like money printing, but is. Um, particularly whenever the governments had to step in and help save some of the banks. And they're also growing the government, and there's a lot of being spent on that as well as other incentives. So you can see here now in 2024, beginning of 2024, it looks like we're getting ready to go back to easy monetary policy. And this is why you see things like the Magnificent Seven and the big tech stocks and crypto and other risk assets really starting to rally because of the speculation that the Fed is going to start cutting rates and the possibility of more money printing coming if we do see some kind of correction or recession. And this is another chart he has. It's really interesting. This is the performance of the S&P versus the liquidity, and it's pretty astounding. I think he quoted that this is around like a 92% correlation between the liquidity and the stock markets, particularly the growth markets. Next thing I want to take a look at is this chart of the yields. I want to zoom out here first. This looks a little funny whenever I really zoom out. It becomes quite distorted, but bear with me. So this is the 2-year yield rates, and you can see back here in the 90s when the yields went up. I believe there was a big correction around that time, a recession. I was pretty young then. But then whenever we went into the 2000s and the dot-com bubble and the big recession we had then, you saw how they cut rates. Then they began to raise them, and they raised them right up to the point back in 2007, right before the great financial crisis. And then they had to cut rates drastically. Some countries went with negative rates back at that time. But let's zoom in to where we are today. So in the 2010s, rates were very low for a long time, which caused all this growth we see in the stock markets. This is the S&P and the Russell 2000. Then back in 2018, where we really saw the rates go up, we saw the markets correct, and then as the rates went down, the markets went up. And then, of course, we have COVID, and everything changed. And then the rates were cut, and money printing began, and you see the exponential growth we got in 2020 and 2021. Now let's zoom in here a little bit further so we can see what is going on today. So here is 2020, whenever they began money printing and cut the rates to stimulate growth and just to really, cover everybody. There's a lot of uncertain times, obviously. But if we zoom in here just a little bit further, we can see now that the rates have pretty much topped out at around 5%. I believe it was 5.25%, and now it's suspected that the government will start cutting these rates. This is going to take some time, but you can see here from the top is where the markets have started taking off, particularly here in October of 2023. So, what does that mean for crypto growth stocks in particular is what I want to discuss today. And so if we look at this Bitcoin chart, this is going back to 2016. You see every time we enter these parallel channels, and once we break out, we get this big explosion to the upside. Happened in 2018, coincides with the monetary policies. Then back in 2020, and now here today. So, what ETFs and stocks can we look to make a profit off of, or some really great returns during this crypto cycle and easy monetary policy? First off, we've got this ETF called Block BKCH. And as you can see here, we were in this long accumulation zone through the major correction we had back in 2022 and into 2023. We've got a series of higher lows and higher highs. We're currently sitting at $48.60. This could easily go up into this next range here of 60 to 68, $69, which would be quite a nice return whenever you compare that to the S&P. And then after that, it could go, once it breaks through there, this next area of resistance. As you can see, this acted as support back here, then flipped resistance. And this level is the $88 to $97 range. So that's over a 100% gain from its current prices, or right around that, and it could go higher. This ETF is a mixture of several different companies that are related to crypto, such as Coinbase, Mara, and Riot. And so I wanted to discuss those three companies in particular today. This is Coinbase. Again, long accumulation zone, higher lows, higher highs. We've got this broadening wedge pattern here. And if this breaks out of this pattern, this really could take off. But honestly, at this point, I would like to see some things kind of really pull back and rest for a while, or reaccumulate in this zone here before going higher, because I do think that the markets are a bit overextended, like I mentioned with the fear and greed index. I would like to see maybe something like a Coinbase come back down and maybe test this level right here around 180 and accumulate for a while. Or if it did even come back down, I don't think we're going back down past this level right here, this 125, 130 to 123. But if it did, that would be a really good buying opportunity. So I'd keep an eye on Coinbase. Some better picks right now. I really like Mara, Marathon Digital Holdings. Again, big basing accumulation, lower lows, higher highs. This is what I've always used as a swing trader whenever I'm looking for stocks that I picked in the past, is to have these series of higher lows and higher highs. I always like to try to buy in, particularly around the third higher low is generally a really good point as a swing trader. Um, you know, to buy a spot price. If you are more of a long-term investor and you're just going to buy and hold this, just anywhere in this zone should be a really good area throughout this entire cycle, and most likely definitely moving forward. Um, if you are an investor and you're just looking to get in, really you just want a dollar cost average. Just dollar cost average. Put in money every paycheck. Um, I would recommend that you diversify if you're uh, looking to start getting into the markets. Don't put all of your money in these type of stocks because they are high risk and there's a chance they could go down. I was thinking about this a little bit last night and a little bit today. Are we in overbought territory and what's the risk here? And really, I think the biggest risk is some sort of black swan event where we don't see something coming. It could be in real estate, commercial real estate in particular. Um, Maybe the banks. Really, I think if the banks, we saw another bank go under the other day, their stock corrected, or they're talking about, I guess, being uh, illiquid. That's generally good for crypto. Uh, Not so good for other things, but anyway, yeah, something such as possibly a war. You're not going to be worrying so much about money then. You're going to have other things to worry about. But nevertheless, right now, we are in an uptrend that is expected to continue probably for the next 12 to 18 months. And so I think there's a lot of really good buying opportunities here. So where could Mara go from here? Once it breaks through this level, it's probably going to the $40 to $48, $47 range, and it could go much higher. So you could see probably fairly easily a 2 to 3x on this stock, if not more. Then we have Riot. I really like Riot at these prices right now. Uh, Long zone of accumulation, higher lows, higher highs. Um, and we're setting right around that 1450 right now. Once this breaks out of this resistance, this should go to 22 to $25 per share. And then after that, we're looking at 34 to $38 a share. And then after that, if we get back up to where Bitcoin is currently sitting around, you're looking at 48 to $53 a share. So that is that's a 3x really from its current levels, and it could go much higher. You could easily go up to 60, do a 4x, and then whenever things get really crazy, this Bitcoin cycle, you could see us blow past all-time highs and do a 5, 6, 8x. Another coin or stock I am looking at is Robinhood. I mentioned this on my live stream yesterday. Um, Robinhood has the most users out of any really financial or investing app, and it's had this long base of accumulation followed by higher lows and higher highs. You're really just starting to get in here at a really good entry point. It looks like I would like to see this thing come back down and retest this 1540 level right here, or possibly a little lower. If you could get this around this $12 to $13 range, it'd be a really good spot entry. Um, but from here, this could go to this next level once this breaks out to this 26 to $28 range. Then after that, you're looking at 34 to 36, $37 range. So, you could easily see 2 to 3x, possibly a lot more on this stock. If you go up here to this 45, That's about a 3x from where we're at right now. It's about where Bitcoin is setting. And we saw what happened to Coinbase the other day when Bitcoin's price rallied up to $64,000 and the app could not handle the demand. So whenever this bull run really gets started, things are going to get pretty wild. And honestly, it's good for these big companies or these companies that have exchanges and offer trading, such as Coinbase or Robinhood, um, because they're going to make more money. So you'll see these prices continue to go up. So where can you buy these stocks? Well, you can buy them on any uh, exchange really um, that offers stocks in general, and one of those is Robinhood. Uh, I just got this app the other day. I use my E-Trade for most things. I've also got Coinbase app um, as well as some others. But I did download this the other day. And as you can see here on Robinhood, they offer an array of other cryptocurrencies such as Avalanche. Obviously, they've got Bitcoin and Chainlink, Ethereum, couple of the meme coins and other assets, but they were very popular last run. I think they're going to do very well again. But yeah, if you want, I've got my referral link down in the description below. Feel free to use that. It supports this channel, supports me. I appreciate it. And one other pick that I have for you in the altcoin market is Avalanche. And so let's zoom in here just a little bit. I wanted to show you this. I saw this the other day when I was watching a show, and I just noticed this pattern flash. Now that I am more into swing trading, I see these things a lot easier. We do have this inverse head and shoulders on Avalanche. And so what that means is you have the left shoulder, the right shoulder, or sorry, the head, and then the right shoulder. And basically, what you can expect from this is that this is the neckline where the shoulder points meet, and you take a measurement from where that is to the peak. And we're just going to use this line here, and then you place it here, and that gives you your next projected spot of where this could go. And so you can see right now we're setting around the $16 mark on Avalanche. Sorry, this is AVEX. My apology, guys. AVEX, which is Avalanche. Anyway, you can see this could go up to. I know why I'm thrown off here, guys. I'm sorry. So, yeah, Avalanche, AVEX, this 16, this is the market cap on this. It's not the actual price. I am not sure how you change that. Let me look here, see if I can find this. I'm not sure, guys. I'm new to TradingView, fairly new to TradingView. I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, as you can see, there's definitely much more upside potential on AVEX. So I hope that, guys, helps you. Um, Another thing is if you're looking to get into investing or trading, uh, you are taxed on any capital gains that you make. And so setting up an IRA is a great way to avoid that. Um, or if you are currently working and you have a 401k or IRA and you want to get into some more of these crypto related assets, I use iTrust Capital. I rolled over a portion of my IRA into iTrust Capital so I could gain some exposure to some of these other altcoins. And so if you're interested in that, you can use the link down below. And I will see you next time, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye.